Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Flynn, founder and CEO of ChildLight Yoga and Yoga for Classrooms. Um, I really don't do a lot of videos, but I just felt like today it was a good day to do that. I've got a lot on my mind, and I haven't visited with many of you for a while. I haven't even sent out a Yoga for Classrooms newsletter since September. And I just felt like today was the day. There's a lot happening in the world, just in the aftermath of the latest school shooting. I went to post a post that we did many years ago when Sandy Hook happened, and I realized that I was reposting the same kind of tips and resources that I've now done about 6 times in just those few short years. And it's brought up a lot of emotion, as I know it has for all of you, a lot of rage, a lot of feeling powerless. And yet, in thinking about it, out shoveling just now, I was thinking about actually how much we have power and how much we actually can do. So I just wanted to take a second and tell you, kind of 5 things that I was thinking about. They're also right below here in the notes of the newsletter with links to some resources. But, the first thing I think that is so important is giving our students a voice and making sure that they know that they're heard, and their feelings of frustration and anger and confusion and hopelessness and powerlessness are not unfounded. And yet there's also hope there as well. And I think creating situations where they're able to share those feelings and also come together as a school community with their peers, and maybe also in alliance nationally with their peers across the country, is a really good opportunity, not just for their little souls, their young souls, particularly high school students, but also, for the idea of education. And, this is really giving them an opportunity to see what the process is like, to perhaps have a peaceful protest and feel like, and actually do make a difference. So there's a couple resources below about that. I know there's 2 big dates that are being talked about. March 14th for a 17-minute something. It may not necessarily mean a walk out of the school, but maybe there's 17 minutes at 10 a.m. on March 14th that we could do collectively across the country to give our students and our teachers an opportunity to have their voices heard, whether that's with posters or whatever. The other date is April 20th, and I believe that's being organized by the Columbine community, so definitely also something to look up, and I'll provide the link below. The other thing that I think that we could do is really plan something in our communities or as a school community, something that goes beyond 17 minutes. Maybe collectively from a curriculum standpoint, there's a way to tie in some reflection, some education. Maybe there's some writing that we could do. Maybe there's an event that we can have. But I think bringing our students to a place, and our teachers, and our communities, and our parents, everybody, and having an opportunity to come together in that way is really powerful. One of the things that we do, of course, at Yoga for Classrooms is we provide tools and sequences, kind of mindfulness activities that schools can do collectively or by classroom or even individually. One of my favorite activities is actually called Peace Breath. And like I said, I've written about this before, and actually I know when the Sandy Hook tragedy happened, that was something that was shared. It kind of went viral nationwide as something that was shared over the announcements, or even in individual classrooms, as something that was proved very healing and provides a sense of power in a very powerless situation, in really sending out peace to everybody who needs it in the moment, including ourselves. So that link is below as well. Another thing, of course, that we can do is to collectively make a difference is contact our representatives. Whatever your beliefs are about, gun control and mental health and all of that, the fact of the matter is our mental health funding just got cut by 30% in this country at a time where there is a incredible epidemic of mental health issues, increasing numbers of suicides, just even here I'm going to get emotional, even here in my own community, young kids, young people are just losing hope and taking their lives in their own hands, just out of hopelessness. And, depression is up. We have a criminal justice system that doesn't make any sense. We throw people in jail and they don't get the services they need to get better and make different choices when they get out. There's just so much to that. So whatever, your causes are, please don't hesitate to reach out to your representatives and make your case and make sure that your voice is heard. Their job is to vote for what the people want in their communities and what they demand. They need to listen to you, so don't hesitate in making your voice heard. The next thing that I think is really important, which really ties into the work that I do, is this idea that each individual person counts. Sometimes we feel like we're not making a difference because our little tiny voice in this big ocean of politics in our nation and how many people literally that we just have, maybe our vote won't make a difference, or maybe our phone call won't make a difference. But we have a bigger voice in our own schools, and we have a bigger voice in our own communities. And I think that we can make a difference there, whether it's pulling together an event, having conversations. Last night I had a group of high school kids, my teens and their friends, frustrated, crying, demanding change, wanting to do something. And my job was to listen to them. And I got online this morning and started doing some research of what I could do to help them pull something together right here. Those are the types of smaller things that we can do. But even in our schools, anytime someone reaches out to me at Yoga for Classrooms, it's not typically a school administrator. It's not typically an entire organization that wants to make a change in a school. It's typically one person, a classroom teacher, a school counselor, an occupational therapist, a speech therapist, the PE health teacher, or a parent for that matter, or it's the PTO who says, we really believe in this work that you're doing. We really know, in our hearts that having socially and emotionally healthy kids is the foundation of everything else that comes after it, right? Being able to make responsible decisions, being able to make friends, being able to focus and pay attention in the classroom, never mind, cognitively have a better opportunity of taking in what we're learning and remembering it and then taking a test. I mean, this is just not rocket science. It's neuroscience 101. And then you look at the trauma research that says that kids who have been traumatized, they don't feel safe. Mindfulness is a way to help our kids to improve their social emotional learning skills, to be more emotionally resilient, and to be more learning ready. So if that's what we want for our kids, we need to make it a priority in our schools. And sometimes it just takes one person in one school to get that conversation going. The No Child Left Behind Act has been left behind, and we have a new act, the Every Student Succeeds Act, that is kind of rolling out across the country. And it's not perfect, but the good news, I think, is that there is more of a focus on whole child education, not just academics, but really teaching to the whole child. And this idea that their social and emotional well-being is just as important as everything else. And of course, physical and so on and so forth. So we do have some areas due to that act where there should be more funding for professional development so that we can give our educators and our schools the tools and resources that they need to make that a priority. If you have any questions about that, you can certainly reach out to me. This is what we do. But there are lots of other programs and opportunities and SEL programs out there to definitely be looking at. But I personally feel like mindfulness is the foundation of all of it. We can't learn social emotional skills of responsible decision-making, making good friends until we're first self-aware and able to self-manage. And that's really where yoga and mindfulness comes in. And then finally, and I think, honestly, this is probably the most important thing. And I know that teachers are like, no, I don't want to hear this, but you need to focus on yourself. You need to focus on your own emotional health and your own resilience. You deal with a lot every day. You love your kids. and you're doing the best for them. But there's a lot that you deal with in a day, and things like this happen, and it can rock your world. So it's really important that you take care of yourself as well. So again, I have some resources below for that, but I just wanted to share this brand new book. I just got this in the mail. It's absolutely amazing. It's called A Daily Dose of Mindful Moments, Applying the Science of Mindfulness and Happiness, and it's by Barbara Larrabee. I have yet to give her a call, but I'm actually going to call her probably right after this. I heard about it. I just got it in the mail. I was breezing through it last night. It's beautifully written, easy to understand, and I feel like every school teacher should have one of these, and I encourage you to use some of the practices in here for yourself, and then maybe to share them with your colleagues. Even if it's the beginning of a staff meeting for 5 minutes, just take a minute, connect with each other, get grounded, celebrate your successes. They say connection is really the antidote to stress, to a lot of mental health issues and addiction as well. And I feel like connection and mindfulness are really the real keys. So again, help yourself to the resources below. And if there's anything else that I can personally do or we can do to support you at Yoga for Classrooms and ChildLight Yoga, please reach out. Thank you. Bye.